initially when AI came, right, everyone was sort of slightly, have that fear in our mind. Okay, will our job go? Well, in certain areas, yes, our Indian people have started proving that it's just not a technologist.
Yeah.
We are able to give the right solution. Nowadays, the young generation, they talk more on personal life, work-life balance, and all those things, right? So they are not ready to stretch, respect the rule of the land.
Yeah. That
This
is a
applies. This
important
applies
point.
anywhere you go.
Yes.
Like there is an English saying, right? When you go to Rome, be a Roman.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Tech Teach Unfiltered, where we get into the minds of industry and education leaders. Today, we have a seasoned leader with us who has spent over 2 decades in the service industry. Our guest has worked with some of the biggest brands worldwide, driving innovation, strategy, and digital transformation. Currently serving as the delivery unit lead in one of the top global service industry, he has played a crucial role in optimizing operations, enhancing customer experiences, and leading high performance teams. Please welcome our guest today, Mr. Balakrishnan. Hello, Balki.
Hello, hi Raghu.
It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Of course, very nice to have you, or very nice having me here. So I'm also happy to give this, share my experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Balki. So I'm very curious to know what is the change that you have experienced when you began your career from 20 years back or 25 years back to now?
Okay,
What is the
okay,
change that you're seeing?
okay. So the first question was very, very. I like this first question because I would like to share that experience. So when I first joined, I don't know, many of you had not even heard these languages. So there are languages called Pascal, COBOL, Fortran. I don't know, I don't know whether you have heard about these languages. There was a language called Deck Basic. These are all totally legacy applications.
Okay.
And I started as a programmer working on these languages. So at that time, we don't really look for or ask for options, right? Whatever we get, we just work, because this we are talking about back in early 2000, where there is no options for us to choose language. I will work only on no certain tools or certain language, nothing like that. We were given a work, we have to learn, do. So
Okay.
that is how I started my career. So nothing to do with what I studied in college, because all these languages were totally new.
Yes.
So learned, done, and then there was a platform called OpenVMS, which is not even, I don't think anyone uses OpenVMS now. At that time, back in those days, Indian Railways were using OpenVMS and Tata Steels, I believe. Now they have all moved to Unix. So for a very long time, I was a programmer in that area, around 6 to I think more than around 10 years, and then made a switch to SAP and other languages. Most of the time I had worked in UK, and that was a big experience. Then I was able to lead the team there, and talk to the client, understand the business, and that's when I really understand how the client business works. Because and back in those days, there was a disconnect between what the actual business was and what we are programming, because
Yes.
there was always a middle layer there who is a kind of a coordinator. We call it as onshore coordinator, whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Even still now.
Even
We
now
have that.
also, I know.
Now we
So
also have that.
with that bridge, we don't know what is a client business. We just hear from this fellow, okay, he will tell, do this program, that's it. He will give a spec, we will just program and deliver it. We didn't have any idea on how this was impacting the actual business. So when I worked in UK within the client's office, that's when I really understand how is their business, and then we were able to actually contribute more in terms of helping their business, because we were understanding what the pain that they were going through.
Yes.
So we were able to give the right solutions. So that changed the perspective a bit as well, because until that point of time, the India development centers were more like delivering some software solutions, not a business solution.
Okay.
But then that made a difference. When I was there, we were able to give actual business solutions also, and then come back to software solution. So that's the big difference I felt when I actually worked in the client side. Then after a few years, I can find that all these old technologies are moved, right? They have all migrated to either Unix or then a SaaS based application. And then all of a sudden I was finding myself not relevant to the market, right? Unfortunately, I got a chance to move into SAP and Java also.
Yeah.
Then again I had to start from scratch, because after 10 years I'm going to learn SAP, but I know that I'll be compared with another 10 years guy who has been in SAP for his entire 10 years. And that's where I need to choose what I have to learn in SAP. So what I thought was, I will, since I have that client business knowledge, I was focusing more on SAP functional, trying to understand, how to configure SAP to suit the client's needs. And then I started managing support of non-SAP applications also.
Okay.
And then when I'm back to India after 7 years in UK, that experience actually helped me a lot in managing teams better, because I was able to mentor my team to think from business perspective, not just giving a software solution. Try to think what exactly the client's actual problem is, and then try to give the solution accordingly. So that helped. And now again worked as several like basically trying to stabilize software delivery, AMS support, and that is a role after that which I am doing till now.
So what do you think the biggest change that happened that at that time and to now?
Okay. So there, the learning was more because we had to do that learning at that time.
Yeah.
Because the tools, or what we call the materials, maybe I would tell, I don't know, I'm trying to put a right word for that. The tools or materials to facilitate that learning was not there at that time.
Okay.
Because the worst thing you can do is at Google, which will give half-baked results at that time, and you will not find some of the technologies in Google also.
Yes.
Because nowadays it's not like you have ChatGPT, Google, anything you want. Even you can write a code, right? Even code snippet also, you can get it from the net. But that time the internet was also not very powerful. So the only option you have is that you have some old textbooks. You have to sit and read and get things done, right?
Okay.
So learning was the key at that time.
Okay.
And now I find that it's easier to learn. See, even now also learning is the key still, but it's easier to learn now.
Yeah.
Because with you have demos, YouTube demos, and then ChatGPT will help.
Technology has made it easy.
Technology has made it very, very easy. Exactly. Okay. So now learning is much, much easier. Yeah.
And even more cheaper than before.
Exactly, cheaper than before. Yes. Exactly. That's a good point. Yes, of course. Okay.
So what do you think the AI is creating? Like, how is it eliminating more jobs, or is it creating more jobs in the IT industry?
Okay, it's eliminating some of the jobs, but then it creating more opportunities also. Maybe I will explain. So initially when AI came, right, everyone was sort of slightly, have that fear in our mind. Okay, will our job go? Well, in certain areas, yes. All the repetitive jobs, for example, maybe I can think of some incidents. Say I will talk more from a service perspective.
Yeah.
We resolve lots of incidents. Any repetitive tasks, that will go off. So if you are working on some repetitive tasks like taking calls, going and changing some configuration, fixing the incident, if you are doing anything repetitive, that will go off, because AI can easily replace that.
Yeah.
But then it is creating lots of other opportunities also. So when we tell business opportunities or lots of job opportunities, there are certain areas, right? Like you can learn more about prompt engineering, machine learning. So now in future, what I think what is required is that we need to give the right use case for the AI. Right now, there are, even though we talk about AI a lot, we are not implementing AI in several the business that we are doing. The reason is we are not able to get the right use case for AI.
Okay.
Say when it started, it's more than a year. It came like a storm, but I don't think we have made use of AI to a very big level. Every company wants to jump onto AI just to show that we are an AI. But have they really used the potential of AI? The answer is no. It is yet to start actually. So that is where the now this new job opportunities will get created.
Okay. So when you say that it is not still used to its fullest potential, can you give some examples like what are the other things that it can be used in?
Yes. So, for example, AI can be used to resolve actual business problems.
Okay.
Say, it's matter of right now. I will tell an example. Right now, what we're doing is that, as I was mentioning earlier, it's more like resolving the repetitive tasks. Well, we can also do that without AI as well. Only thing is that you have to sit and write an automation
Yeah.
script to do that.
A little time consuming.
Exactly, it is time consuming. So that time is now reduced by this AI.
Yeah.
But still, it's like an automation.
Okay.
But where AI really have to be deployed is that where you take some decisions based on certain parameters. Say, for example, you have to give some solution, but then for giving the solution, you need to have some rationality behind it, like on what condition or depending on the current scenario, you can give those solutions. So that is where AI have to be deployed more.
Okay. Fine.
Like maybe it should you should feed AI a bit more thought. It should decide and then take an action. So that I don't think that kind of use case we have ever implemented till date. Maybe in future, I think that's what we are working towards.
Okay, so there is a report from layoff.fii. So in that, it is they are telling that they have let go of around 10,000 employees in 2025 itself. So what's your take on this?
Okay, so there are layoffs happening in IT industry almost all the years,
Yeah.
because in IT, what it's really important is that talent and skill. Because if you're keeping up with the technology, and then if you have the relevant skills to the job,
Yes.
that's when IT can survive.
So
So
what
obviously
you're
there'll be some kind of layoffs. Yeah, sorry, you are asking
no,
something.
what you're meaning to say is that we need to be upgrading ourselves and make us skillful enough that so that we would need to be in the relevant.
Exactly.
That
So
is what.
that is more important. On these layoffs, yes, in 2025 there are. Then, as I was answering to my earlier question, maybe it might be because of this AI has come to the picture, and then many of the repetitive jobs are going away. But then, on the positive side, there are lots of job opportunities that are created as well with the help of this AI. So if you know machine learning, if you are able to do the right prompt engineering, you have lots of other jobs also.
Okay.
So it's like, instead of telling that there are job opportunities going away, I would put it in a slightly different way. It is like a shift where some of the skills are being irrelevant and some of the skills are being relevant. So it's like in one area we are losing some opportunities, and another area we are having some opportunities.
So what you're saying is like when we got the smartphones, many people started telling that some other things will go on. It will be not used like
Exactly. But then
the
we
same way.
saw with the smartphones, so many
Other
job
things
opportunities are
coming
created,
up.
right? Swiggy, no, Uber, like you name it, everything is
Yes.
based on this smartphone. Yes,
So
that's right. That's a very
same
good
way
example.
we'll be getting more jobs, but we need
Maybe
to
in a
wait.
slightly different.
We need to wait for that.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Rise of no code and low code development. What are your thoughts about it? Does this impact the demand for developers in IT industry?
Okay. That is very similar question to this AI also. So this no code, low code, it cannot be implemented for like for all the business solutions.
Okay.
To a certain extent, yes. So it's very similar to that AI implementation, where some repetitive jobs can be can be done by AI solutions. Very similarly, this no code low code is for standard solutions. But nowadays we see that, say for example, it might be the same domain, like different industries or different companies with the same domain, but still they have different business requirements,
Okay.
because they are catering to their own customers with their differentiation. So obviously they want solutions also to be different. So we see that, at least I can see that, no one really wants to stick on to the standard solution. They want heavily customized solution to cater their business needs, to cater to their customers very specific to their industry. So in that way, I think low code, no code will not work, because obviously you need to have some no complex business logic where you need programmers to do that. But at
Okay.
least maybe to some of the standard solutions can be applied, but still we require developers to cater to those business needs.
Okay. So, do you think the hiring pattern or interview pattern must change to onboard the right skill set? What's your opinion on this?
Yes, I think it is changed a bit, but I think still we require lots of change in how companies hire candidates.
Okay.
So previously, back in those days, I remember when I joined, right, there was a programming test, one logical test, and then it was heavily technical. Say, for example, if they want a developer in C or C++, you literally have to deep dive into C++. They will ask everything in C. Can you create a rocket in C? That was the kind of question they were asking, right? So you have to be an expert in C languages, trying to memorize all the functions. What is the first parameter, second parameter? So that is how the interviews were before. And now I know, right? Slightly it's changing, but still I feel at least I have seen several technical interviews where they ask syntax of statements. How do you write a program to do this? But I think nowadays we don't require that. If you have the right logical reasoning, if you are able to give a solution to a problem dynamically, I think you are in. Because and the third point is that the learning, I like
Okay.
adaptability. If you are showing your skill sets to learn, that's enough. Because nowadays any business problem, there is resources, so you can go and search the net, get the right technology to implement, and then get the right logic. So you need that kind of an attitude where you are seeking information and providing a solution.
Okay.
So you need to have that skill where you will go around, get the information, and do your work.
Okay.
You don't have to know the information in your head. You don't
Yes.
that is no more
The
required.
technology can help you build it.
Everything is there. Yeah. You just have to know how to get the right information from which place. That's
Okay.
it.
Fine. Thank you. So, what skills do you think the most valuable IT professional in the next 10 to 15 years should have? What skills they must possess, or what skills they need to upgrade themselves?
Okay. Uh, okay. I would tell more on machine learning and AI and data analytics. When I tell these are the technologies, but then on top of that, the most important skill set or the mindset that we should have is that if you want to come into IT, you should be a person who can learn and adapt to anything,
Okay.
because we never know what is going to be the technology after 3 years, 4 years.
Yes.
Because the pace in which the technology and is changing is very very fast over the last 5 to 6 years. So when I started my career long back, 20 years back, C, Java, these were kind of still there were changes to these technologies, but it took longer time to switch to technologies. But now it is not like that. Every now and then you see some tools coming in picture, you use those tools and implement. So in future, it's the right mindset. If you are able to learn, search the net, get the right information, if you are able to learn these new tools, I think that is enough. You don't have to get prepared with any particular technology to handle the future needs. No.
Okay. So you were telling that you worked in UK, and you are. What do you think are the challenges that the cultural shifts, or the challenges that people from here when they move into their those places face? What are the challenges that you think they'll be having
Okay. No, that's a
from
quick.
one country to another, like even
Okay.
here in India, from
Okay.
one state to another? What are the
Okay.
challenges
Okay.
that they'll be facing?
Okay, excellent. No, very good question, because I think that definitely I would like to definitely throw my point on that, because I had both experience. Now, first I will talk about within India,
Yeah.
state to state, right? So when we come to a new state, right nowadays, it's like the languages are common. One thing I would tell is that respect the rule of the land.
Yeah, that
This
is a
applies. This
important
applies
point.
anywhere you go.
Yes.
Like there is an English saying, right? When you go to Rome, be a Roman.
Beer room.
Same
Yes.
thing. So wherever you go, you respect the rule of the land. That's enough for your survival. And then, so at least in within India, I don't think there is any big problem there, because I know language sometimes is a problem. But then, if you are able to kind of at least try to understand the basics of the language and basics of the culture, I think it's not a big challenge when we move across states, because we have seen now, right? Now Bangalore, if you see, like there are people from different cultural backgrounds,
Yes.
even from abroad as well. So they are
Yes.
able to come and survive here. So same way, I know Indian cities are developing, and I think with a state to state like moving, that it's not a big challenge nowadays, right? With this kind of no metropolitan culture we have in the cities, that is not a big challenge. And then moving to abroad, like again, I would like to answer these questions in two phases. First is back in 20 years. So at that time, the image that the Western countries carry about Indian technologists, or the
Indian
people
people
from
in
Indian
general. Yeah.
people, is like, okay, they are good in programming and that's it. So they don't know to create new solutions, address business needs. They are not, no, they cannot lead. Like from India, it was more like a cost center. So how it, especially in the service industry, it was like the work was pushed from onshore. We will just work and then deliver. But then now it's again it's entirely changed, because we give solutions here. Now I know it's still there is a long way to go, because say even in AI, we still do not have our own GPT from India.
Yeah,
Even
that is
China has
correct.
come up with the DeepSeek,
Deep seek.
and but
Yes.
still, I think it's still a long way to go, because that is because we did not have that initial, that entrepreneurial for IT industry, we did not have that entrepreneurial kind of a
Mindset.
mindset.
Yes.
So we were, all of us were kind of, since it, like there are like in Infosys, TCS, it's all service based industry. We are not really successful in a product development,
Yeah.
because we were not
Correct.
focusing on that, right? We were
Yes.
more
Correct.
focusing on
Service.
services
Yes.
industry. Now I think it's a long way to go, we need to have that. But then now, at the back in those days, I know I'm slightly deviating from the topic, but again I will come back to the
It's okay. It's, yeah.
exact answer. When we go to abroad, this was the mentality. But then now, after a few years, like over the years, we started proving, when we were able to work in European countries, US, and our Indian people have started proving that it's just not a technologist.
Yeah.
We are able to give the right solution, optimized solution. We were able to lead larger teams. So for example, in my experience itself, when I went to UK, uh, I was not, or I couldn't lead a team. I
Okay.
was just a software programmer.
Okay.
But then slowly, I was able to kind of, with the right, uh, maybe I would tell, the right learning, I would tell. I will always stress this point: learning is very, very important. So you learn the client's business, give a right solution one, and then what will happen? The client is directly going to come and talk to you. They are not going to talk to their onshore, because
Okay.
they know that, okay, this guy gives a better solution. And that is how we slowly kind of get that trust from the client. And then I was able to manage a team. Initially there was some issues, like maybe some kind of a
Some
friction
friction.
where,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, someone from India, trying to come here, and then manage a
Dominate
team,
them.
some kind of a friction. But that slowly that kind of goes away once they have the trust in you. Okay, this guy can lead a team, can give right solution, can give right direction to the people. So that is where I was able to take the edge, because I myself was able to give a right career path for each of them, because they were stuck in their own technology. And that's when I was telling, okay, can you learn this technology, or can you do this role? So this is like certain suggestions that we give. They knew that, okay, this guy is kind of having a long term vision. And that is how I was able to earn that trust also, and by giving the right solution for the client's business.
Okay.
So that made a big difference. And I am sure there are many like me who have gone abroad and then made that change and changed that view. Now it's like they know that India is just not developers or software engineers. They are actually solution providers. And
Fine.
maybe I think we are almost there, but then maybe in few years we need to really focus more on product development. Some robust product should come from India.
Yes.
That is kind of, across the globe. It will be kind of maybe something like an ERP product, or maybe an AI tool.
Yeah.
Like that's what we hope for. So
Yeah.
we want someone like something like a DeepSeek, something from India coming up.
Something else.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Balki, how do you think the lead role has changed in people management from before to now? What are the changes that you think
Okay.
we need to bring about also?
Okay. So from people management, it's that adaptive leadership style. Well, that has also changed a lot. You need to kind of adapt, right? Recently, we talk about Gen Z, all those
Millennials.
young generation, right? I don't know what our generation is called. Maybe primitives in this IT field, right? So we are from that generation, where that time industry was like more like this. Hierarchy was more important at that time.
Yes.
No? I remember maybe from my parents' time, right? People will not call their supervisor by name, right?
Yes.
So now I can find maybe who have joined my company recently. They are younger than my son. They call, "Hey Balki, come here." So that is how they talk,
Yes.
right? But when we were joining, we don't even use the short names or anything. Like we will call, I
Sir,
remember
madam.
still. I remember my
Yes.
first supervisor, Mr. Surya Prakash. I will call him Mr. Surya, right? So that is how we were kind of, no, that's a big shift. But then one thing that is constant from that time to this time is empathy. That's
Yeah.
very, very important, because when we are managing a set of people, you have to be empathetic. Or that's what I think, right? My leadership style. So I'll be empathetic towards a person, think from that person's point of view. No one is wrong, right? When we have an argument, they might have something from their side. So be empathetic towards people, coach them, like make them understand what is the purpose of the job, give them a clear career plan, and that's how you create that motivation, right? There is and nowadays absolutely there is no point in being authoritative leadership style will not work anymore, right? No one wants to listen to people who are bossy. So unless you are empathetic and going along with the culture, or with that kind of a young generation culture, you cannot get things done. So I think there is a big shift in how you manage the people also. But at that time it was more like giving the job opportunities, and then giving the right direction, and then making them to work, following up, everything was required. And now this is like they need to know why they are working, what is their career aspiration, right? Nowadays that is how people talk. If you are selecting a person for a role, the first question they will ask is that, what I'm going to become after 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. So they ask that long term plan now, right? And then they select the jobs. They don't want to just do any job that you give to them nowadays. So that's a big shift. Previously it was not like that. So unless you give a right explanation to them, okay, this is your job, 2 years you will learn these things, 5 years you can move your career in these directions. Unless you give a clear a long-term vision for them, people are not ready to work now,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And then there is one more change I am seeing. Nowadays the young generation, they talk more on personal life, work life balance and all those things, right? So they are not ready to stretch, right? So back in those days it was not like that. We will ensure that the work is complete and then we go. Nowadays I can see a slight maybe a lack of responsibility is what I am feeling. But we can overcome that. I'm not telling that as a problem. How we can overcome is because I've seen a set of the new set of batch or maybe the recent few batches, a lack of responsibility there. But then you need to have a one-to-one talk with them, gather them to a room, talk patiently, explain them, say you are working for a client. I'm talking more from a service industry. So we need to explain them what their work is. So you are working for a client, there are some business priorities for the client. So you need to understand that, and if you are delaying this work, there is a bigger impact because this person does not know the impact of his work. So we need to really make them understand, if you are delaying this solution, this is the business impact, this is the impact to the company that you are working on, this is the impact that the client is going to have. And then they understand, then they start working, right? And then another difference I find is that back in those times you need to really guide them, but here if you are giving that high level direction, they are able to pick up because they have resource on hand. So if you are telling, okay, this is what I want, okay, go for, and then search for the solution, they will have their network. They will go, they will search internet, and then they will talk to their friends. Somehow they will get lots of information than what is required. And maybe third point I would tell is that we also have to be equipped,
Yes.
because unless you know the technology, you cannot really ask them to do some work. So you have
Yeah.
to also have to learn
We
the new
also
tech.
have to adapt to that
Exactly, only then
mindset.
you are able to talk to them.
Yes. So, Balki, what any other things if you want to add, like any other good things or bad things in the service industry? If you have faced anything, any good examples, bad examples, if you have, you can share with us.
Okay, so one thing I find is that maybe that's my, I'm just talking from my experience and this is my perspective as well, right? So when you grow up the ladder, obviously there'll be lots of tasks, multitask. What seldom happens is that you try to, sometimes you miss out on some important tasks, right? So the best way to do is that ensure that you give the focus to everything, and maybe prioritize your task. So this is, I'm talking more from my experience. Say for example, you might forget to kind of manage your people. You might focus, as you grow up the ladder, you might focus more on what is the business needs, but then people management is also very very important. Stay connected with the people. That is very very important, especially in this IT industry where human resources are the main pillar
Yes,
for
service
this IT
industry.
service industry,
Yes.
like any IT, right?
Yeah.
So unless the people are giving their 100%, we cannot be successful. So for that to happen, you need to have that connect with everyone in your team, right? That is very very important. So that's a message I want to really tell, because uh, say one to one with the team, giving their directions, maybe have a casual talk. So team bonding,
Small
team
talk.
building, yes, small talk. So that is very very important, because that teamwork really helps. Because otherwise I can, that across like any other industry, right, we can have this kind of what we call team politics coming in between, right?
Yeah.
So to avoid that, unless every one of the team members or everyone in the team, especially this starts from the top, right, this leadership has to uh, imbibe that culture, and that has to be pushed towards the down. No politics, talk about or focus on the job done. Evaluation have to be done only on the delivery output. rather than this kind of politics and things like that. So that is maybe that is something like a weed that might creep in between in any teams. So it's a leadership responsibility to ensure that that is not spread in the team. So as long as there are clear roles defined for each of the team member, and they work as one team, focusing on their role, this politics thing should not come in between. So that's a big hindrance to the overall delivery output also.
Yes.
So that's one message. Like basically on the more like giving some focus on people also.
Thank you, Balki. So we'll just finish off with some fun questions, some
Yeah,
rapid fire, some questions, some
sure,
fun
sure.
questions. Okay, what do you think you like more, meetings or emails?
Well, meetings to an extent because I like to talk. But then when you really want some output, emails, proper documentation, points by point, output.
Single
Right?
word.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Monday motivation or Friday feels?
It depends on that week, right? If there is some real achievement, then Monday motivation will be good. Otherwise, we'll be waiting for a Friday to kind of wind off. But then my suggestion is that, like, I know Monday morning blues, what we call, right? That will always be there. But try to focus on that day's work. Don't think there are 5 days to go. So just tell them, okay, Monday is just a day. Finish that work. Then think about Tuesday. In that way, you won't feel that there is 5 days to go for a weekend.
Okay. Work from home or office?
It's a hybrid. Like if you're staying very far away from the office, then you would prefer work from home. But I think hybrid work is more, because work from home gives some flexibility, but at the same time you have to be in office for certain reasons. Unless you know the team, how will you get the output done? Yeah.
So one word to describe your leadership style.
Empathetic and achiever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
so maybe
nice.
a bit more explanation is that I would like to like really talk to the people, understand, give them the right direction. At the same time, I will ensure that the objective is achieved. You find several ways to achieve the objective, right? If there is any hindrance, try to think how to overcome the hindrance. So somehow I will ensure that we are achieving the objective.
Okay. Thank you very much, Balki.